So thank you everyone for coming here and sharing. You're going to share your thoughts on some of the critical things. And this is something which I have been hearing from many of my industry CIOs across the globe. And those are some of the basic questions which I would put to all of you, and maybe you can chime in whenever you want. So one of the most important things which I have seen is what is this thing which pushes you to take a decision, like if you want to move your data center or your DR onto an external environment or a cloud service provider, whatever you call it. So if you may start with you, what is that critical thing which will push you to take that?
So I belong to hospitality industry, and my major three challenge, I'm already using a CtrlS services. Major three challenges: skill set in our industry, attracting a skill set and retaining them. That is a major challenge which we are facing. Second thing, the space which you get to build the IT infrastructure in the hotel is day by day is getting cramped up. So it is right time to outsource it. Point number three is there are mid-scale of the brands which are coming up, and their luxury scale segment is also there, and there are low scale segment is also there. I believe that anything up to 100-room property, 100-room hotel should not build that data center at all, which I'm going to, or we as a brand is going to adopt it in our first property coming in Jaipur, where we are not going to build our data center, we are going to outsource it. So that is what I see as my industry is adopting towards the hosting or the co-location. You have to make a 5 years plan. I even don't say 3 years plan. 3 years plan will also not give you total cost of ownership. You have to make a 5 years plan, and then you will see the total net saving or total cost of ownership which you are going to give it to your business or a board is substantial. So make a 5 years total cost of ownership and then present it. That is how we are doing it, and yes, it's successful as of now with us.
So 5 years is when you see a payback.
Correct.
We come from the banking industry, and for us this is pretty critical to the entire show. Challenges basically were the way we were growing and the requirement for the infrastructure, right from power to cooling to this rack space available. So that's one of the driving factors into moving to a hosted environment. At the same time, we also have our own hosted environment, our own DC data center of our own. So it's just that we have divided it out in such a way that our risks are minimized in that respect. But we see a merit in this that it's not our core competence to manage an infrastructure on the power and cooling side, which I think people in this industry does it better than what we do. And if it is over a shared sort of setup, you seem to get better economies out of it rather than running our own setup. So these are a few points which we've seen, and I think we have been a pioneer, at least in the banking industry, to move into such a, at least in India, to such a model of running the infrastructure.
But because it's a bank, that brings me to the question, what about the security and compliance?
When we've taken a hosted, it doesn't mean that we're using some of the CtrlS network. It's totally an isolated infrastructure in that respect. We do not share our network equipments over the other CtrlS equipments. And in that respect, security is maintained for us. And as long as this level of security is managed, I don't think the regulator has any opinion on that. So we are also heavily regulated, so regulator's opinion also matters to us. Okay, so it's not that the IT or the technology team takes a unilateral decision on it. We really need to take the comforts of our business as well as how the regulator views it. At this point of that, regulator hasn't come out with very clear-cut views on it. But yeah, if you go off one-off case, you might not get an approval also. So that sort of thing is there. So
going forward, would there be an instance where you would be comfortable with more banking from a cloud basis? Would that be in your comfort zone, or that's sort of comfort zone?
Technology person, I am comfortable.
Yes.
Okay. Now, convincing the rest of the business is another aspect. Okay. So it's not that the IT or the technology team takes a unilateral decision on it. we really need to take the comforts of our business as well as how the regulator views it. At this point of that, regulator hasn't come out with very clear-cut views on it. But yeah, if you go off one-off case, you might not get an approval also. That sort of thing is there. So, see, on the core banking side, it depends on how much of customizations or flexibility you can develop. Over that is where the benefit lies for each of the customers. So, many of the banks in India use the same core banking which we use. Now, it is only the processes and the product designs which differentiate us from the entire thing. Now, if that flexibility can be built up on a cloud, I don't think there's anything which could. It's a question of whether we can get that little bit of competitive advantage on a cloud is what would matter for us.
Basically, State Bank of India is very big in size. That new application come very fast. So time to launch is a major critical issue. So even though we have our own data center which is small in size in Mumbai, we go for a third-party hosting. Technology-wise, security can be taken care of, but only the security is a mindset of the management. How so they have certain apprehensions. For example, as mentioned, the cloud. Cloud technology per se is there. Technical people may support it, but management may not support because say my data is in third-party server. So that apprehensions will take time to get rid of. So if the right persons or people, suppose in banking industry mostly managed by the bankers, less of technology people. It should take time to. So the technology itself took a long time to understand by the people in the banking industry.
If you just correlate 20 years back, options were just limited to IT department only. No one was bothering about this thing. Today's driving factors are much more. Say for example, in our company 2-3 years ago, there was a business continuity plan worked out. Different departments, different functions must come out with some kind of business continuity, taking into consideration of various kind of commotions, hiccups which company can face. Now our relationship with CtrlS, now coming to direct to questions. We have developed your primary data center at our main plant only at Ghaziabad. We thought of, let us say, going with DR site with CtrlS, and that was in fact a strategic decision. We are highly satisfied. Let me tell you, highly satisfied. This is the first thing. And the all kind of concern which, let us say, management were, let us say, having this thing, largely we have addressed this thing. So relationship with CtrlS is only in relation to this DR sites and all this thing, and things are very smooth.
What are the parameters on which you would decide an outsourcing partner or a partner where you can host or you be comfortable with taking these kind of services? And if those are the parameters, how did CtrlS figure in those parameters?
For me, the flexibility is the first parameter because you are handing over your baton to somebody else. So flexibility is the first parameter comes into my mind. Second is the parameter which I will see the way of course the infrastructure is the priority for sure. How the data center has been built and how they manage and what are the standards they follow and everything. Second, most important thing which I always not got much answer on this topic, but exit clause. Exit clause is always a question mark in any cloud service.
So what is the exit clause you found here?
So here is where I'm not deciding to exit as of now. But the advantages with CtrlS, what I've seen is their flexibility. Exit clause is if you sit on the exit clause, they will not allow you to exit. That is another exit clause itself. Because they do all their work, which I see the difficult. I before evaluating CtrlS, I have done evaluation with other data center also, and when you say exit clause, okay, they say that you can exit in 3 months. 90 days is exit clause. But when I spoke to CtrlS, they said, why won't I exit? What is that we can take that extra effort for you? Why won't you take exit? That is what more important for me than whether I'm with a big brand or I have that label to work with. I'm not that kind of person. I will see that when I need a service, I should get it.
We've been involved with controllers from, I think, when the day they started digging the setup there itself. It's been quite some time which we were involved. It took us quite some time before we even inked out a deal and set things forward. But the confidence was in the design in which the data center was set up was very comforting, and actually we had not seen such a design in India before, frankly speaking. So we have looked at the other vendors also. So in that respect, the design was absolutely a comforting factor to us. And that's one of the reasons why I think we are, I have to tell that we might be their anchor customer, because we are one of their first biggest customers at this point of time. And frankly, it's just, people would have said that it's a small company and why have you gone into it? It's purely on the design which we vetted, and we've got independent views out of the designs. And we've also closely monitored in the way they have set up this infrastructure, which as an independent set of people also we've got it vetted out. It meets what was earlier offered to us, and that's very critical to our business, because we run a 24/7 and we run across geographies now. It's not just India, so it matters quite a bit to us. I think these were the factors, and it was primarily the design. And I don't know if some of those people who visited the place, you should see the difference there.
A straightforward decision wherein you are saying that I have to outsource this, or there is one of the decisions which came out from some other process, like a cost optimization process, or removing certain kind of applications outside?
It was a conscious decision that we were running out of infrastructure at a very, very short cycles, and that was not helping us to for the organization to commit on to certain resources upfront. So we thought this is a much more flexible option to us, and you can actually start using as you grow in that respect, and it will be available as long as he doesn't get filled up fast. That's how it is.
So it's up to Sridhar to keep an eye.
My interaction with CtrlS is only for last 2 years, when I wanted to launch e-learning hardware in my in State Bank application. That G10 system, which is requires a special kind of cooling and also power requirement. The people which, when I just contacted, the response time is very fast, and the amount of the technical knowledge, depth and breadth they presented. Not only the individual, every person who I contacted them, including the CEO, the breadth and depth of the knowledge related to the, as far as the hosting or the technology is concerned, not only in just hosting one server. In fact, we are also going for building our own data center because of the strategic reasons. So, it's very satisfactory. And also they give not only just only hosting kind of size sensor solution, they give you a holistic approach. This is bad, that is good, and all this. So I did not find any kind of displeasure in any parameter in selecting it. That's why I did not first contact. I wanted to host a G10. It's a unique system in India, is available. First time they took a special care and hosted there in the CtrlS. So I have no reason to just to look for anybody else. That's how I hosted.
In fact, last year, when we decided to go with CtrlS, we had invited many companies, and those were existing partners. I will not take the name of this thing. But what is important is why we have gone ahead with CtrlS. It's not size. In fact, what we found, based on our wisdom, they are original. When we talk about DR site, So the kind of, let us say, collective, wisdom the different people had, that we felt it's very, very original. They addressed all concerns, or in fact pain areas. In fact, we had a lot of pain areas. When you talk about primary side, I'm talking about. Our landscapes are not very, congruent to address contemporary challenges and all these things. So we had identified most of, let us say, pain areas. And before going ahead with DR side, we had some kind of, interaction with your CtrlS people. First thing is the approach was very positive, and all kind of technological pain, because what is important is, how you address the customer's pain, in what way, in regard to, regardless of, let us say, money and all these things, That was first thing which we feel that, CtrlS was very, very genuine, very, very original, and that build up our, let us say, raised our confidence level. And we thought that we should not go only with the big, those who are having, big data centers, space, or having international footprints and all this thing. Let us go with someone who is very, very original, correct? Though we know the CtrlS, in my previous organization also we had this thing, but we decided with CtrlS, that was the only ground.
So if I could ask in a long-term strategic perspective,
yeah.
How do you see CtrlS as a contributor to your strategic growth, and what is it that would increase CtrlS' stickiness?
They have got very, very robust footprint. I'm just considering based on this, their growth, correct? And they were having a lot of focus on this, DR sites related activities and all this thing. They were enhancing their footprint also, correct? So that was one of the key factors, because when we see the across 5 years, because we have got agreement with CtrlS with for 5 years, and which we eventually we can let us extend also. That's a different thing. But that was one of the this thing. When we analyze their, let us say, growth and all this thing, and in fact technological competency and capabilities of the people, that was the main thing. See, money matters and all these things, exit clause and all these things, this is all different thing, because different people, let us say, give this thing. What we feel that people should come with their original ideas, correct? Commitment should not be duplicate. Many people, let us say, come out with a commitment, but it's basically clone. Commitment has also got cut and pasted and all this thing, because it's very difficult to judge the people. CtrlS, still we feel, I'm just recalling the 1 year back when we are having a lot of interaction with your various companies and all these things. They were always coming with some ideas, which was, let us say, convincing us to somehow wipe out all kind of pains what we had that time. So now we are in that way. This is very good.
What I want to say is the 2 point is, if CtrlS want to stick to our brand or any other industry brand, what you have to do is, your competition is already doing something. You have to deliver that thing for sure. But you have to take that extra mile and deliver something extra which your competition is not doing. That will going to take you a lead in the market. Yeah? So you have to understand what your competition is actually doing right now in the industry, and take that extra mile and deliver more value to your customer, which I have seen they are able to
differentiation and innovation and those kind of stuff.
No, more
services.
So for example, if X is providing 24/7 service, I have to provide 24/7 service.
So
but what is that extra which I am going to provide on that 24/7 service over and above it? Why not 25/7 service? Everybody talk 24 hours. So I'm just saying that deliver, which is that one extra mile they have to go, and it value add to me, which I have seen it, which is allowing me to stick to them for the services.
Basically, we see how the costs of running that show can be further compressed in that respect. So we expect technology refreshers in any of those areas where it's power, cooling, and other things to be, at certain cycles picked up and passed on to us also, so that we benefit out of that exercise. I think these are the 2 points for us which is important, and 100% uptime is the one which we always look for, because we can't afford even a small downtime.
The question is, how strategic is CtrlS to State Bank of India? In my personal opinion, of course we are building our own data center, but strategic point of view, today actually morning the session, the Gartner has suggested When building a data center, you build on your own or co-locate in some place. The hybrid model is the best model. In this scenario, when I have my own data center primary, CtrlS being in Bombay, very big setup, option is given to me. I like to host disaster recovery from Hyderabad, moving from Hyderabad to Bombay. That way it will be very strategically for SBI as well as for CtrlS.
That was the end of the questions. Any of you would want to ask them? Welcome.
Of course. I told you I am for last 2 years only, but they made a presentations. We did not formally evaluate, but whatever presentation they made, they are all carrier neutral services which we are providing. That is the first level comfort it comes to us. Therefore, there is no need for doing a formal evaluation, just simply we have selected.
I think, I feel it's a very important question, we had also put a lot of efforts in terms of, let us say, because any organization have got heterogeneous mix of communication backbone, especially, let us say, when we talk about MPLS and all these things, now managed services, to increase business continuity, uptimes and all these things. Many companies has, let us say, have two kind of, support partners and all these things, as far as these things are. Here, when we talk about CtrlS and we talk about various kind of communication partners, we'll say like say Reliance, Tulip, we have, they're also supporting. Now, we DR site and primary sites are, let us say, we have got P2P connectivity, P2P link, point-to-point links and all this thing. And to some extent, let us say, I am talking about experiencing. I am not talking about this thing, but that was one of the prime consideration. How this, in case, let us say, if there is, the packets are not transferred, read to logs are not transferred and all this thing. So how we'll come to know this thing? What we have experienced so far, this CtrlS is proactively, in fact, informing us if whenever there is any kind of, hiccups in terms of getting this log shipped to that DR sites and all this thing. Those people are always, let us say, behind us, let us say there is some problem and all this thing to find out and all this thing. But I personally feel when you talk about DR site perspective, this is very important factor because the kind of, let us say, communication infrastructure backbone which you have and the way you are, let us say, shipping your logs from the primary data center to this thing and all this thing. And here the role of, good data center specialist is very important. Correct. This is right.
Due diligence I will do if I build my data center. Similar due diligence I will do if I host my application or any internet connectivity with my CtrlS or any other data center. Similar, you have to do it. Over and above, you have to see the statistics what they have, what kind of primary ISPs they have. So they have all kind of ISP setup there. Plus, recent case in Bangalore, one of the areas where all the hotels, because I am from the hospitality, so I know this case. All hotels were down, all primary ISPs were down. All the second aggregated ISPs were working. So that setup they have or not. If primary ISPs goes down, what happens? And that actually happened in Bangalore. Your ISPs like Net4 India was working that time. So that is what give me a, that is what actually I will see that what if primary goes down? Where is the aggregators are coming? Do we have such setups or not? Do we have a failover available to primary or not? That is what I actually see with this. Just to add, what I have done with me is that first is you have to gauge whether it's what business critical risk you can take with this. That is first. Second is what if you want to run that application with your own data center versus the hosted data center or co-location data center. So you have to have that parameter in place, that what if you have to manage that application, what are the parameters you will take care and what is the costing, then what is the uptime and stuff like that, and what is your stress level. For me the stress level is 0 because I sit on the beach in Goa and 0 downtime for me. That is what I evaluate to host it.
Hi, my name is Vijay. This question is for both SBI and Axis Bank. You have your DR site in CtrlS, not the primary site. What is the reason? And the second question is, who executes the DR plan and how frequently you test the DR?
I run my primary from CtrlS. And my DR is equally competent to be the primary. So, the entire infrastructure is managed by us. The DR plans are executed within the bank. CtrlS only provides us the infrastructure on the power and cooling side.
As far as SBI is concerned, we have our own data center, primary data center at Bombay, connected to Hyderabad, and also in CtrlS. So once in 6 months we do the DR drill. There is one special executive assigned for that with the risk management department. They will be carrying out periodically this DR drill and submitting a report to the management.
Power, cooling and all that sort of stuff. Do you have any plans to extend that further into maybe getting them to operational services, or what level of comfort would you have if you were to consider something else?
At this point of time, I don't think we plan to move any of the other services out. It's a question of the options available basically for those services. So today we run our own show, so there's no question about it being moved out. It's a question of time when commoditization goes to such levels where we look at commoditized method of service delivery as an option which is economical. Yeah, we might consider. At this point, let me be frank that we don't look at those services which CtrlS provides to be available.
Thanks for your time, and thanks all of you. Just before, Sridhar, just ensure that small moment of spending the time here.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am Sridhar. I attend CtrlS, and it's been a pleasure listening to all of you for the first time. I have decided to stand back and listen to these participants. Very, very we will take all your suggestions very seriously. Thank you very much, all of you. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
We are organizing a data center tour on May 15th. So if anyone of you wants to visit our facility in Navi Mumbai, so we'll be organizing the entire transportation, and I'll be the one who will be taking you to the IDC tour as well. So it's a great opportunity, and I can share with you that it took due diligence while we are building this particular facility, and Sridhar has been ensuring that the right brick and mortar went into the data center.